Hi everybody, it's Kathy here from Kathy Loves to Scrap, and I'm coming to you from down under today, and I'm joining in on a Mystical Scrapbooks challenge where we had to create our background using watered down paint. And what better watered down paint than watercolors? This is the layout I've created, and I've put it together just using watercolor paint. So I've got these 3 photos of a recent trip to an Easter fair, and we were on the cha-cha, and so I want to create some movement across the page like the ride. And so I'm going to use these watercolor palettes. I've got a pearlized one and I've got a plain one, and I've just bought those from the local shops. They're not that expensive and they are very versatile. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to draw in my circles onto my white layout. Now, anyone that knows me, a plain white background is very daunting for me, and I don't actually like to work with it. So this is a challenge in itself. So I'm just using my Creative Memories circle cutters to create my circles, and a few other little objects from here and there to get different sizes. I'm making sure that all of the circles overlap. I'm then using my water colours from my watercolour palettes, and I'm just painting them in. Now I'm trying to give the effect of a spheric shape, not just a flat shape. So in some of them you'll see that I add in the curvatures to build that round shape in and lift it off the page. That's something we teach the kids at school to do, so that's what I'm trying to do here. Watercolor paint is great for that because you get to have the different levels of it. You can have the brightness, the darkness, you can thin it out, or you can make it thicker. So on here I'm just working with colours that match my photos, and it doesn't matter that they overlap because the circles are overlapping and interlocking. And the best thing with watercolour, you just go over the top of it and it blends in nicely. And as you can see, I'm getting those creative whirls and swirls in my circles to give a spheric shape to it. And I just need to remind you that when you're using watercolour, don't smush the brush like I am doing terribly here, and I tell my kids not to do it, and I'm doing it. Use lots of fluid, lots of water on your brushes so your brushes stay nice and fluid, and then they move nicely across the page. I've gone back in over the top of the pink with the pearled pink just to give it that shadowing effect, so it's got that swirl on it. And then I've gone back into my darker colours here. So I'm just quickly colouring in, and it does take a while to do because you want them to semi-dry between each layer so that they don't blend colours too badly, and you want to be able to map out your page by not taking an hour and a half just to do this part. Lots of water allows the watercolour to come across the page, and as I said, I just am adding colours randomly. I'm not having any specific plan in my layout. I am just using the palette and the photos to guide me. So I've just about coloured in all of my circles here, and as you can see, they are complementary to each other and they look effective overlaps like that. So that's the basis of how this layout came together, and I thought it was a fun layout to try with these photos, given that we were having so much fun on this ride. The ride people were hilarious. They kept making it go faster and faster because we were just having so much fun. And at one point they stopped the ride to rebalance the ride and actually asked a gentleman with his younger daughter if they wanted to get off because they were going to make it extremely fast. They did in the end make it very, very fast, and the little girl, I think, would kind of regretted not getting off. So I'm now using the silver in the pearls to do some paint splatters, which are not showing up very brightly on here, but at the end you'll see that they do. I'm then going over with the purpley pink. I've got this title from Scrapbook Fantasies out of the chipboard range, and it says Fun, which I've covered up using my dilution sprays. And I'm going to mat my whole layout with this colourful background from Paige Taylor Evans' page, because it has all the colours in my layout, and I like a border around my pages, as you know. I've gone off screen, and when it's dried I've just used those circles again to trace with the black pen, That's to give them definition and make them stand out. And now I'm just adding in some messy scribbles just to add some detail to the circles and give them a point of interest. And so you can see with my photos, I cut them out using my Creative Memories circle cutters, and I'm just placing them strategically around so that it has that movement across the page and uses the circles to guide it. So that's basically where I'm placing the photos. They overlap, and yes, sometimes you do cover up what you've done, but that's okay. That's part of the design detail, just like if you're using patterned paper. So I'm actually going to put the fun down here in the white because I just want it to stand out a little bit. And if I put it over the circles, it looks a bit silly. So I'm popping up my photos up off the back, and I'm using foam tape to do that. This gives dimension, adds a shadow, and adds a little bit more interest to the page, but it is also for when I go back in and tuck things underneath. So I'm using my tacky glue to adhere that chipboard title down, and I've gone and got my Teresa Collins word phrases, and I'm adding one to each of the photos so that it's just another point of reference around the page. And as there's 3 photos, 3 phrases, one says love this, one says fun, and one's enjoy. So they're just mimicking pages. So I'm using my circle hole punch, and I'm cutting out from the paper some circles that I'm going to tuck into the layout, and I have 5 in the end because that's an odd number and it makes it nice and smooth. I tuck those in under the photos, as you can see, and that's the beauty of the foam tape. It allows me to lift and move as I need, and it adds another layer of interest to that layout. So I'm just tucking them in and gluing them down flat because I don't want them to be raised. I want them to be built into that layout. And I move that one around a bit more because I don't want it tucked up there at the top. And as you can see, they're now all in there. I don't particularly like that it's a flat white, so what I've done now is I'm putting in a messy scribble border. I'm not using a ruler, I'm just using freehand, and usually that's not a problem if you do it quite firmly and quite smoothly down the page. It doesn't matter that it's not exactly straight, that goes to that creative effect of the layout, and it's actually quite effective when you look at it because it gives it that pop of black to bring it up. I'm just going to go around those word phrases now just to make them pop because the white just looks a bit stark, and I'm just adding a little bit of doodling to match that which is on the circles that I have painted. And then I look at the circles that I added in the paper and they just need some finishing off. So I'm doing some faux stitching around the outside. Doodling always adds that little bit extra to your layouts. It finishes off things that just don't look quite finished. And don't be afraid to do it. Go over the top of things, doodle over the top. It's just that one bit extra of detail and layering that you add to your layouts and keeps the eye moving. As you can see, even though the background is busy, those 3 photos do stand out and they do draw your eye to them because of the placement around the page. They are evenly spaced, but they are in the set of 3, and the set of 3 triangle visual makes it easy for the eye to roam and settle. So I've got those in place. I've done all my doodling. I'm just not happy with that title, so I went and found some thickers and I've changed it to Crazy Fun because that actually was Crazy Fun. I'm putting in the date with my date stamper. That's the only journaling that I'm adding because this is going next to a sister page that's already talking about us on the char and how much fun we were having that day. So I'm adding in my classic Nouveau drops. This time I'm going around the circles and I'm not putting them into a triangle. I am just moving them around the circles. I do only add 3 lots of 3, and that's so that the eye has a visual triangle set up multiple times around the page, and that's how your eye captures the photos. So I often hear people say, oh, the background overtakes the photos. I don't believe that that's the case if you've set up these visual triangles. It's because if you don't have somewhere for the eye to settle and roam, that's when the photo gets lost. And because I'm using the triangles in 3 separate ways across this page, you can see that your eye automatically goes from one to the other. So that's my layout. As you can see, oh, glue, I better take that off there. You can see that each of the photos is in a strategic place. Each of the colours are there. The background is distressed looking with that painting, and it's all been made from watered down water paint. Very bright, very colourful, very fun, and as you can see, it came together quite nicely. Remember, have a go. Don't be afraid. If you like anything, put it on freeze, take a screenshot and have a go at doing it yourself. This has been a fun layout to do, not my normal, but something that I enjoyed. I'm Kathy from Kathy Loves to Scrap, and I'm scrapping with you down under. I apologise for my voice. I have COVID. I'm trying to keep up with my schedule. If you like it, give me a like. It lets YouTube know that you like what you're seeing and that I'm hitting the mark. I really do appreciate your time. Leave me a comment and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Remember, you can find me on Instagram, where all my layouts end up, whether I have a video or not. Happy scrapping until next time. Thanks for watching.